AIADMK Steni district workers have urged the party coordinator O Paneerselvam to reunite the party by bringing back estranged leaders Sasikala and TTV Dhinakaran back into the party. In the resolution handed over to O Paneerselvam, party cadre stated that the split in the party is the reason for successive defeats in the past few elections. They further added that the party will become united once Sasikala and Dinakaran are included back. Remember, Theni is the hometown of AIADMK coordinator O Paneerselvam. Let's go across to our experts who are joining us live this evening, political analysts, on what exactly this means for the state of Tamil Nadu. We have with us S.Murari, senior journalist and a political commentator. We're also joined by Narayan Lakshman, who's associate editor at The Hindu. Thank you very much, gentlemen, both of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. Mr. Murari, let me begin the discussion with you. What do you make of this new development, and what does it really mean for AIADMK? Because many are saying that it was O Paneerselvam only who started this mutiny against Sasikala, is now supporting, in a way, her return into the party. Isn't it ironic?
Absolutely ironic. It was, as you say, he was caretaker chief minister, and then he was full-fledged chief minister after Jayalalitha's death. Then it was Sasikala who forced him out of office and brought in Aiadmk Carde. And he even voted against it, and then went on what they call the crusade against Sasikala, went on a fast and all that. But nothing worked. Immediately, the Dinakaran also tried to bring down the government we voted with the government, but later on he wanted to become chief minister. Then EPS successfully managed all the moves to destabilize government. Remember, it happened after the death of Jayalalitha. He was a very tall leader. He won 2 consecutive terms. After that, he consolidated his position through a series of maneuvers, call it whatever way you call it. Then Modi brought about a compromise. Only united the ADMK could bring some benefit to BJP as an ally. So they came together in August 2017 or 17, right? Since then, there have been, what are the elections there? 2019 was the Lok Sabha, then 21 was the Assembly election. But remember, different factors come into play. Assembly, Lok Sabha and local body polls. It is a fact they have divided, ADMK is a divided house. But grassroots support still remains for the leaderless ADMK. That is reflected in Lok Sabha. Of course, it was a different execution. Modi should get a second term. But what effect it have? ADMK went to that, and the BJP, DMK also put it super fried. As far as Assembly was concerned, most important factor was 10 years ADMK is in power, anti-incumbency factor, and divided house, no leadership, no Jayalalitha. And Stalin had been waiting in them. He had a consolidated alliance. All these led to defeat of ADMK. ADMK did not lose badly. It won about more than 60-70 seats. Okay, emerged as the main opposition, all because of one man, Aiadmk Paneerselvam. Consolidation of votes and then alliance. He kept BJP under check. At the same time, he also saw to it that OPS did not overstep its limits. All this has happened. Now, coming to Sasikala factor, how will bringing Sasikala back strengthen the party? Immediate reason was, in the local body elections, they did not fare badly. ADMK came at distant second. But BJP claims it is the third position, third poll and all that. That is how they did not even contest 12,000 seats. It's only about 500, only 300 seats.
But it was quite an embarrassment. The performance of AIADMK, Mr. Murari, was quite an embarrassment for AIADMK.
No, this is an urban local. So all right, it is an embarrassment, and they have to put the house in order. I agree with that. But Aiadmk has consolidated his position in the party, and he has held the party together. However divided outside it may be, tussle it may be, he has led the party, first completed the term for 4 years, and led the party for 3 elections, however badly. In what way will Paneerselvam will do better, because he has shown no leadership quality. He has been flying away from danger at every point. And more important, Sasikala. She came in February and then she went into retirement. Remember, the disqualification of from running for public office runs on the day she was released. That is, she has completed only 1 year out of prison after completing the term. another 5 years to go. Will she be Rajmata, like a Rajmata in the party? What
Narayan Lakshman, she also had an option actually to come back into politics. In the recently concluded assembly elections in Tamil Nadu, we were hoping that she'll be back. That was the buzz initially, but she did not contest elections. Can Sasikala really take on Stalin? Because
no, she cannot.
Yes, Narayan Lakshman. Can Sasikala now really take on Stalin?
She cannot run for public office.
Are you speaking to me or to Mr. Murari?
Narayan Lakshman.
Yes.
Narayan Lakshman.
I think they are very different political beasts. So Mr. Stalin is very much, though he's not been chief minister prior to this, he has grown in the shadow of his father politically, who was, as you know, a important revolutionary sort of political leader on the DMK side, as much as there were the same on the ADMK side as part of the Dravidian movement. So Sasikala, however, has very different credentials. She was only in the background as a family friend and confidant, as she's described, of Jayalalitha during her time. They faced a tempestuous relationship on many counts. She was often, at least on several occasions, she and her then husband were ejected from Veda Nilayam and from the party and so forth. The interesting question really began after Jayalalitha's passing, because as everyone noted at the time, there was a power vacuum given Jayalalitha's extremely centralized style of leadership and the lack of second-rung leaders coming up under her. Therefore, the significance of Sasikala grew in that kind of ecosystem where it was not necessary, her lack of political savvy as a party insider was not so much of an issue, because she had the enormous influence of claiming Jayalalitha's heritage and her mantle in the aftermath of her demise. And at the same time, the second big factor in her favor was the sheer financial and sort of money muscle that she and her Manargudi clan family had and could bring to the table. Of course, that was a double-edged sword, because it was both Jayalalitha and Sasikala were convicted in the disproportionate asset scam, and she had to go to jail. So it was a double-edged sword in that sense. But at the same time, now that she has done that, the Indian electorate, whether Tamil Nadu or elsewhere, they're all about, once someone has paid a penance, they are ready to forgive them and welcome them back. So even though she cannot contest in active politics yet, there's 4 more years to go, or 5 more years to go, she will remain a force in the AIADMK general sort of field. I don't think they can easily ignore her or what she means for the party's future. I think at the present juncture, I don't agree with Mr. Murari that it was a very narrow loss. It was a pretty bad loss for them, and it does raise very serious questions about EPS, OPS combined and their ability to hold the party together and deliver a state assembly victory. So I think they have searching questions that they're facing at the moment. One of those questions is, will we benefit from bringing Sasikala on board, even though she has those limitations that I identified just now? Or will she help tip the scales in our favor and for the next election mount a realistic challenge against the DMK and Mr. Stalin, who are in a very strong position right now?
Will she be able to unite the party? That's also a point that, clearly is important. And I want to give the last word to Mr. Murari. Can she be the glue that AIADMK really needs at this point in time with the kind of infighting that we've seen of late?
A lot of bad blood has caused in this last 4 or 5 years of power struggle in the ADMK. As I said, she cannot run for election. She has pots of money, no doubt about it. Even after the conviction, she has to pay her 10 crores. Even after this, she has lots of money. Money is not everything. As about legacy, it is MGR's legacy that endures. It is Jayalalitha's legacy that endures. The grassroots worker, he swears by these two. The ADMK cadres, they want to come to power so that they get some money. They'll back any horse in the hope that she will be able to revive the fortunes and bring the ADMK to power. But it will come on its own. I don't think return of Sasikala, first of all, is ruled out. Party will never agree to that. He had fought tooth and nail to keep the party at his control. I don't think he'll let go, because again she will become the supreme leader by whatever name you call that. And everyone who had to quote out to that. Sasikala is known, Paneerselvam is known for, going before anybody. He has shown some independence, Edapadi Palaniswamy. And he has emerged as a leader of his own right. He is firmly backed by his community. This is not the case with their community in Paneerselvam, though Sasikala also comes on that. They are diffused in all the parties, whereas the Governor belt, the first time Chief Minister come on, from the Governor community, that was a solid backing. That was in the Koggu belt that ADMK did very well. In this election also, one drag was the BJP. All right, now Stalin, look at it from Stalin's point of view. They have once again said, even the third election has proven that it is a Dravidian land, only Dravidian parties control. That is either the DMK or the ADMK. The DMK finishes off the ADMK, then we have to face much greater danger from the BJP. So it will be the interest of Stalin not to wipe out the ADMK, keep it as an opposition party, so that it will be again be bipolar,
what you're saying,
and BJP will not be able to cash in on the vacuum if there is that. That will be the right side. Of course, he is going slower.
Okay. Narayan Lakshman.
Yes, I don't agree that the DMK has that much control over the fate of the AIADMK that they can keep them as a second-rate party. I think it's more that the ADMK is currently in a phase where it is searching for leadership or a different leadership model, because while it was good for governing while they were in power, it clearly failed in terms of delivering an election victory. And therefore, they are experimenting with various different models of leadership. This question of Sasikala has come up. I don't think it should be ignored entirely. And at the same time, the Dravidian politics is strong on both sides, and they will keep competing in the foreseeable future.
All right, gentlemen, I'm completely out of time, but I appreciate both of you for joining us here on Urban Debate. We'll see what really happens next, because when it comes to politics of Tamil Nadu, it's always interesting to see, what will happen next, because now VK Sasikala, will she be back in the party as being demanded by some party cadres or not? That remains to be seen. What will be the reaction of Edapadi Palaniswamy is something that we'll be looking forward to as well.